Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go for this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating two drawings, essentially. One of our dynamic hero and villain. One of our dynamic hero and one of our and a dynamic villain drawing. And so to give you an explanation that I put together this slideshow. So let's just talk about visual dynamics. Visual dynamics means that there are things or what are called elements in the artwork that's going to make it just very visually appealing. It has energy. It's going to make people want to look at it. Usually it's a lot of like lines or shapes. Sometimes it's like the figure move in a certain position. That's going to create more of a dynamic image. So I wanted to show you some past student work. These two are from the comic book assignment from like years ago. And these are two different pages from the comic, but I wanted to explain to you. So these two are both not dynamic. So the one on the left, I don't know if my mouse will show up, but the one on the left, the poses of the figures, they're standing straight, arms to their side. Yeah, they have a facial expression, but it's really not very interesting. So this is not a dynamic image at all. The background with the stars, it's creating a little bit of movement, but it's still not enough to really make this dynamic. The one on the right has same thing. The poses are really stiff. There's no facial expression. The only thing that does have more movement and that makes it a little bit more dynamic is the background, where all those stripes are leading towards the center. So that does draw our eyes in. So it's a little bit more dynamic, but the poses are really boring. So what I also want to point out here is be careful, those of you who are using colors. So here, the artist used a lot of red, yellow, and orange, but the figure on the left gets lost because the colors are so close to each other. So what I did was I turned the image black and white, and you can see that the color of the shirt is exactly the same value as that orange in the background, even though when we look at the color one, the orange looks a little bit darker or a little bit more red. In terms of value, it's the same. And so you want to be careful about the values you use if you incorporate color into your image. You definitely want to have a strong contrast. So to add to the dynamic image, you want to have really bright, like light values, and you want to have really dark values. You want to stay away from having everything those middle grays. Otherwise, it's going to look very much like this. So just to look at values, here's a few photographs, and this is a great explanation of how value is used to help us show distance or to show what's called atmospheric perspective. So anytime you want to show things that are closer to us, the darker values bring those things closer to us because we see more detail and darker values and more vibrant and colors when things are closer to us. And when things are moving far away from us, they get lighter in value and they become a little bit fuzzier or they have less detail. So in this mountain scene, and this is a photograph, so you can see like the mountain close to us is really dark, and then the mountain back, so that's like 100% value, that mountain front. Then we have the next few mountains are